Hello, Two Heads Up here. Welcome to another Bank in Progress video. So, the last time I made a Bank in Progress video, I believe it was 2 days after the release of God Wars. So, I think it's a good time to release another one and see how much time I've put in and for my stats and everything since last video, and how efficient my money making has been since the release of God Wars compared to now, really. So let's start with the stats. So I did just get 99 HP, so that's my third 99 and my fourth cape, really, if you include the quest cape. So we've got 3 skill capes and 1 quest cape. Other than that, I've just gotten more combat levels through attack and defense, and my skills have stayed the same, I believe. Yeah, they've stayed the same. So let's look at my bank. So I've got a lot of cash now. Pretty much 48 mil right on the dot. I've used a lot of my supplies. If you remember, before I started God Wars, I had 1k Bones to Peaches. I'm down to 270. Also had close to 1k house tabs. Now I'm down to 125. So I've been using up supplies big time. So all the buying and selling that I've done, I've managed to keep my placeholder mud staff, which I'm proud of, and placeholder dragon weapons. The reason why I have 3 dragon boots is I still owe my friend a pair of dragon boots and never seem to coordinate when to trade them to him. He always seems to be busy. All my runes, which I have plenty of, all these blood and death runes I keep getting a ton from Zamrock and a ton from Ankous. So no matter how many I sell, I always seem to get them right back after a day. My herbs, I always have plenty of herbs and plenty of secondaries as usual. I don't buy herb packs really every day now because it seems like every time I buy herb packs, I die and lose my B-ring imbued. So I have to go back and get one, and I just fall short of getting it imbued. So I think I'm just going to stop buying those for now, and when I train at Nightmare Zone, I'm just going to save my points for the next time I die. I need to buy my imbued back, sadly. Potions. So I am low on brews. I started off God Wars with 768 brews, and I am finally down to 19. I probably sold a quarter of the brews that I initially started off with, not because I wanted to, because my friends needed brews. So yeah, that's part of what contributed to my brew loss. I also had around 150 super antes, and now I'm down to 60, so I've used a lot of those at Zamrock. I'm still doing relatively okay in superstores. I started off with just over 200, 220 or so, and I still got 70 left. So those have lasted me quite a while. It's the brews that have gone through big time. So my usual stuff. Logs and coal, which I always seem to have a ton of. All my ranging stuff. I don't range at Sarah, and I don't do Armadillo anymore, so all the diamond bolts and ruby bolts I accumulate, I make and I sell them. So that's why I'm low on those. I wish I did this earlier. I've been making my dragon stones into dragon bolts. I've been cutting them and then making dragon bolts and enchanting them. I wish I did that with all my dragon stones earlier, since I've got all these rune bolts to do that with. But oh well. My clue scroll stuff and my rune stuff, you get a ton of rune armor from God Wars, and it's crashed so much, even with these PvP world update, that I just usually end up alking my rune armor when I get too much of it. My seeds, I've never bought Snapdragon seeds yet. I get so many from Bandos. I only farm in my Trollheim patch, so I always seem to have just enough Snapdragon seeds to do my daily farm run. Tons of Raynar seeds from Saradomin and other seeds that I don't use, but I hold on to. My miscellaneous stuff in my bank. potion doses, more miscellaneous stuff, and now here comes to the items of my bank and the majority of my bank. So, in my last bank video, I bought this third age top. I still managed to hold on to it since I bought it 2 days after the release of God Wars. So it's gone up, obviously. It's around 70 mil right now. So the price that I paid for it, I've made a lot of money just by holding on to it. I'm considering buying an AGS, so in order to do that, I'd have to sell my third age range. So the only, I think I would finally consider getting an AGS after 99 attack, because what I'd really like to do is get Void Melee and try out an AGS and Void Melee at Bandos. I want to try a few other things at Bandos World 1, like using an anchor, because supposedly the boss is weak to crush, but I'm gonna see if that's true, and see how well an anchor does at Bandos. So that will be interesting. I've got my ZGS. I've still got this is the ZGS I made myself, so I looted the hilt. I didn't loot the Godsword blades, and I didn't forge the shards into a blade, but I looted the hilt myself, paid off the split for the hilt, and I've got my own Godsword that I got the hilt from Zamorak, so it feels really cool to have that. And it is my favorite Godsword. It really is. It just looks so good, and the special attack is just awesome for Castle Wars, at least. You can one-bang so many people and freeze the flag carrier. I can't tell you how many times I've one-banged flag carrier with the spec. It just hits. Does 10% extra damage and freezes them. It's just awesome. And the Godsword itself in PvP, I can just two-hit people. It's great. And I can use it at all the bosses, and I do use it at all the bosses. I've used it at Saradomin recently. It freezes her quite frequently. I'd say 3 out of every 4 special attacks, it freezes her, and 1 out of 4 of those you hit hard, like 30 plus. So it's a great weapon to use at Sarah, and it's pretty reasonably priced. It's going up right now, I think, at the moment. So it may still be a good time to buy one. By the time you look at this video, you'll have to determine that for yourself. And the last thing about the Zamorak Godsword, I can just use it at all the bosses, because all bosses require a Zamorak item to get in, so it kind of saves inventory space, and it's a good weapon to use anyways. So my armor and my other miscellaneous equipment is thinned down a bit. All I have is a Seer's ring, which I even considered selling, and a Berserker ring. I don't even have Infinity boots anymore. I'm kind of a little disappointed that I sold them. You know, I lost money selling them, but this is only a few $100K. Because I know I'm going to need them eventually for something like barrows, possibly. But I figured in the meantime, if I ever need magic defense, I can just use Jester boots, which give the same magic defense +5 as Infinity boots. So it may go around to walking and getting a pair of those for free. I've got the Zamorak D'hide, which I sometimes use and sometimes don't, but after the Godsword is updated for the stab attack to be changed into a crush attack for the accurate attack style option, then I won't use a whip at Bandos anymore. I won't consider using it, since I can just use the accurate style for the Godsword, which will hit pretty often. So I won't have any use for this Zamorak D'hide, but it's a great Zami item to have for Bandos. It's probably one of the more popular ones. It's cheaper than Carol's, and it works pretty much just as well, and it saves you inventory space. I've got Bandos boots for tanking Bandos, which I don't like to do, but sometimes I'm the only one that can do it, so I have to. Still, I've got my Crystal Shield, my Crystal Bow, and yeah, so what are my future plans? So I said I would consider buying an AGS. What price would I like to buy it for? If I do end up selling my third age, probably around 102-3 mil. We'll see. So the first 2 days of God Wars, I made around 40 mil, I believe I said. And since then, I've probably, in the past 2 weeks, I've probably made only, God, 60 mil, 65 mil. So the amount of money to be made has gone down dramatically at God Wars since items have dropped so much. And I've just been pretty unlucky with drops. After those 2 Cerdamen crossbow drops, I just didn't get anything for days. So that really put me behind of everyone else. So I've got all these skill capes too in my bank, and this is the only time you'll actually see them in my bank. I'm just gonna store them in my cape rack in my house, because that just takes up too much bank space. Oh, one more. So many capes. And if I don't get an AGS, I'll see if I can get my 3rd age range legs. That's what I'd prefer to do. Buy those legs and be all set, have my 3rd age. That'd be fantastic, but we'll see how it goes. What's to come? And I haven't been posting too many videos compared to before because I've just been doing a lot of live streaming. I haven't been making a lot of guides or anything because I've been doing a lot of live streams. So if you want to check that out, check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/2headsup. I'm streaming quite frequently, so and just PM me if and ask me when I'm streaming or whatever, and I'll let you know. I believe that's all I have to say. I kind of think that's all I had to say. Oh, right. I was going to give a merching tip. So, Poll 12 ends this Wednesday. So, I think midnight on Wednesday, British Standard Time, I believe it ends. So, by that time, it looks like things like the stab option being changed to crush and a God Sword are going to pass. The Staff of the Dead not being able to be used in the duel arena really is going to pass, and the auto casting for the Staff of the Dead for Flames of Zamorak, that's going to pass, it looks like. So, saying that, it may be too late already now, but things like God Swords, things like Staff of the Dead are bound to rise in price. If you look at the prices of them now, if they haven't already risen, they're just way too undervalued. And with this new update of these weapons, their prices may actually shoot up, especially with the auto casting and with the stab being changed into crush. But one thing I've been considering is on Tuesday, that's when what's it called? Free PvP Worlds, free 07 ends, or Trial 07 ends. So maybe before the trial is over, people will be selling their items, panic selling their items, which will cause them to drop. So it's really up to you. It could go either way. It could cancel out. But that's what I recommend. If you haven't bought a God Sword yet, or you want to buy a God Sword for a good price, or Staff of the Dead for a good price, now is the time to do that. So, same thing with Cerdamen Sword. That's why it's a great time to buy all those things. So, that's the tip I gotta give. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.